Hello and welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for joining me here today. I really appreciate you clicking on this video, and I just want to say thank you to the new subscribers and everyone who watched my last video, which was my first one. So yes, this is my second video of this new channel. So thank you very much. Every view, every subscriber is really appreciated. So thank you so much. But today there's more talking. So I hope you're prepared to hear me talking for a little bit. Get yourself comfy, get yourself a nice beverage or whatever you choose to drink, and let's dive in to what I read in March. So for those of you who would have watched my previous video, which was a bit of an introduction to myself, I let you all know that I'm a thriller girly, and that is most certainly what I was reading throughout March. So let's dive in. On average, I tend to read one book a week, which I don't know if that's classed as slow or fast, I'm not sure, but that's just the sort of pace I read at alongside my work and other commitments in life. And some days I hardly read, if at all, but at the weekends or my slower days I would always choose to pick up my book. So roughly I read one book a week. So I'll let you be the judge of that, whether it's slow or fast, but that's just how it is for me. So yeah, 4 to 5 books a month. So I've got 4 books to talk to you about today. And the first one is one I was really excited to read this because it's quite a different twist and storytelling. And I don't know how I feel about it still. I was really excited and then I wasn't, basically. So this is Gillian McAllistar. I think I'm saying that correctly. Gillian McAllistar. Wrong place, wrong time. And I got this in a charity shop, I think for £1, no more than £2. It's a little bit bent on the spine, but it's fine. And I also listened to some of this on audio. So I switched up between the two because I tend to listen to a bit of audiobook while I'm driving to work. And that's what I did with this one. And I haven't read her books before, so it was a new author for me. And this is about, I'll read out some of the blurb. So I won't read all of it out because you will really get sick of my voice. But basically it's about a mum who witnesses her teenage son, and I can't say that on here, can I? She witnesses her son do something not good, basically, to another person, and she obviously wants to figure out what happened. And she wakes up the next morning and it's the day before, and throughout the whole book she's always going back in time, whether that's a day before, like a year before, even further back. And it was interesting, but I found I was getting a bit lost in the whole time travel and was struggling to keep up with it. And I don't know if it was because I didn't fully read it and I listened to a lot of it on audio that I lost it a bit. Because I find sometimes when I listen to books on audio, if I'm not 100% concentrating, I could quite easily lose the story. So that might be why. I don't know. That's why I've decided to keep the book in case I want to give it another go and I would physically read it. But because of how I felt, and I wasn't overly impressed with the ending, it was a little bit predictable, I gave this did I give it a 2 or 3 star? I think it was a 2 star. I'll put the stars up on the screen. To say, I think it might be because I listened to a lot on audio and wasn't 100% in the right zone for it. I'm not sure, but let me know what you think if any of you have read it, because there was such a hype. And like I said, I was really excited to read something different that had like a really different story tell and something relating to time zone. And I don't think I've ever read a book like that. So yeah, the concept was cool, different, but I didn't really get like much of a thriller vibe, to be honest. much more of a mystery, I would say. Right, next. Again, if you watched my previous video about my introduction, I am a Freida McFadden fan, and I have read her latest book called Dear Debbie. I think it's her latest. She's popping them out like every month at the moment. Yeah, absolutely love the sprayed edition, which both me and my sister have got, and this is from Works for £5, which is such a bargain. Yeah, I really enjoyed this. I mean, I like most of Freida's books. There are some that I'm not so sure of, not so fond of, that I wouldn't recommend so much. And maybe that's a video for another day. But Dear Debbie was up there with the Housemaid series, I'm not going to lie. I actually found some of it quite funny, which you don't really expect from a thriller. But just to summarise what the story is about, the blurb's quite long again, so I won't go over all of it. Basically, it's about Debbie, who is a mum, and she has a column in a local newspaper or magazine, and she gives advice to ladies, or whoever, it's mainly ladies, writing in about just general life stuff. But at home, she's actually writing like these drafts that never get published, and these drafts are a bit concerning because her response to some of these are basically to get rid of your husband in the worst way possible. So those drafts in the book are quite humorous, but they give you like a bit of an idea of what Debbie is like, and that is portrayed in her real life too. So she ends up doing some things that she shouldn't really do and sets people up. And there's 3 perspectives, I think, in this story, and one of them is her husband. And throughout a lot of the book, you're thinking that she's going to set him up for something. Yeah, I probably haven't given that a very good summary, but basically it's about Debbie and what she is getting up to, and people in her life that she's trying to protect, but also other people in her life that she wishes to get rid of. But I'm just giggling because like the draft newspaper column that she's writing, it's quite funny, and I've heard that in other reviews as well. So it's definitely got the thriller vibe, it's definitely got all those different perspectives that I like in all books, and the easy to read, want to pick up Freida McFadden vibe. And the ending was good, and the fact that it had a bit of humour made it even better. So I gave this a 4-star. I don't think there'll be loads of books of Freida's that I would give a 5-star, just because it doesn't have that depth. And you'll know what I mean if you're a reader of hers. But I really enjoyed reading it. I was excited to pick it up again. The humour was fun. The storyline was good. I liked Debbie. You wouldn't want to mess with her. And yeah, I really liked it. Another book I was really, really excited to pick up and very, very excited to have in my hands is, look at this sprayed edge, oh my god. So it's Miss Alice Feeney, and it's My Husband's Wife, which is her latest release. It came out earlier this year, and I was on the hunt for this on Vinted quite soon after it was released, and I managed to get it. It's a little bit oh yeah, mainly here you can see a little bit faded, but you know, it's fine. But isn't the sprayed edge beautiful? Love it. Loved the design of the book, and I absolutely loved the book. I'd heard a lot of mixed reviews, but a lot of people that I follow were giving this like 5-6 stars, but some people not so many. But I've read a few of her books, including what's it called, Rock Paper Scissors. Love that. I think I give that a 4.5. And Beautiful Ugly wasn't so fond, but it was a good book, but it wasn't my favourite of hers. And what's her other one? I watched His and Hers on Netflix. That was really good. I don't know if I should read the book. And one more. What was the other one I've read that I liked? Oh, I read it on my Kindle, so I don't have the physical book. Oh, that's going to annoy me. I'll pop it up here, and I can't remember. Oh no, it's really going to annoy me now. But my favourite so far has been the Rock, Paper, Scissors book, but now this one is at the top. Absolutely love this. I'm sure a lot of you, if you're thriller people, roughly know about this story. So basically it's about a lady called Eden Fox, who is an artist. Her and her husband have recently moved to the countryside, and one evening, about a month in after moving, she goes out for her regular run that she does every week. And when by the time she comes home, her key doesn't go in the door, and someone answers it, and it looks just like her wife. And her husband gets involved and says that this mysterious lady is his wife, and it all stumbles on from there. And I loved it. It was just such a good, different perspectives, and a really, really good story, and it kept you guessing the whole time. I got my predictions wrong, and I love that about a thriller. That's what it should be. It should be keeping you wondering and thinking, is this what's going to happen? Oh no, but then this happens. And another thing I loved about this book is that at the end of most chapters, it was like, what the hell? What just happened? I need to read on. And that's what I love about books, is when you get to the end of a chapter and you just need to read the next one, but life gets in the way and you need to put it down for a bit. I absolutely love this, and the epilogue was mouth-dropping. Honestly, did not expect that coming. Please do let me know if you guys have read it and what you rated it, and if you loved it, because I certainly did. Drink your water, guys. Lastly, the last book I read in March is The Blue Hour by Paula Hawkins. And this is a bit more of a wintry setting. I chose sort of the wrong time of year to read this, but that doesn't matter. I have read The Girl on a Train and absolutely love that book. I mentioned that in my little introduction video, and it's one of the best thrillers I've ever read. Many years ago, it was one of my favourites. Maybe I should read it again and see what I think. But I haven't read any other Paula Hawkins, and I was intrigued to see if I got the same vibe. So yeah, I got this again in a charity shop. £1 maybe. So yeah, there it is, £1. See that? Love getting my books in charity shops. And yeah, so I picked up thinking, okay, let's see what one of her other books are like. And it definitely wasn't as exciting as I felt with Girl on the Train, but I really enjoyed it. But I did find it a little bit, could have done with a bit more explanation at the end. I found the ending a bit dry, but the characters were great. I love, there's mixed media in this as well, which is something I'm discovering. I'm not one that has a lot of knowledge about mixed media books, but there's like you know, like emails and letters from one of the characters, like diary notes like that. And I like that because it sort of like breaks up the book, and yeah, it's just more fun, isn't it? And nice short snappy chapters, which I like. But basically this is about a lady who lives on a like deserted sort of island in Scotland, cut off from the mainland, and you know, the tides of the sea prevent you getting to her house, so she needs to know like the tide times, and she plays that to her advantage when she has some visitors. And the reason she's having visitors is because a lady she lived with who passed away, who was an artist, Her art is being held like at a gallery, and there's been a discovery that they need to investigate, and this lady that was friends with this artist who lives in this lady's house is holding a lot of secrets, and she isn't keen on all these people coming into her home and discovering stuff that she'd rather be left a secret. And yeah, she has to do things to prevent these secrets coming out into the big world. She has to do certain things to protect herself and the artist who she cared about very, very much. And these things are not very nice. So yeah, this main character is a bit unpredictable. Don't know what she's going to get up to next. Leaves you wondering. But yeah, the very first chapter was quite a wild opening, and I was hoping throughout the book like something was going to get answered from that first chapter, and I felt like it wasn't. And I don't want to say it in case any of you haven't read it, but did any of you have that same vibe? Like the first chapter left me thinking, oh, wonder who that was. We never found out who it was, and I was a bit disappointed. So yeah, once I got like my teeth into it, I really enjoyed it, but I did find it a bit, I don't know, I wasn't like super excited to read it. Hard one to put my finger on, but I gave it a 3-star just mainly because of how I felt. But the writing was good, the storyline was interesting, and yeah, I'd recommend it. It was good. I've got pins and needles. Ow. Oh, yes, that is what I read throughout March, and I thought I'd show you very, very quickly my current read. I fancied having a little break from thriller, because sometimes I need that just to, I don't know, it's a lot to, thrillers can be quite heavy after a while, and I'm sure people can understand that. Sometimes I just like a little light-hearted story, something just humorous, or just something like girly or something, and I've had this book on my shelf for a little while, so I was drawn to pick this up. You know, it's April now, I just fancy something light-hearted and summery, well, not summery, springy, and it's Dorno Porter Honeybee, and I love the cover. This must be from an airport because it's like airport size, but I got this again in a charity shop, and you know what, it's quite funny actually. I've not annotated, but I've just sort of bookmarked a couple of quotes that I really liked at the beginning, and I listened to a little bit on audio, which is getting me through it as well. It's a little bit young, it's more for like younger, sort of in your 20s. I'm early 30s, but it's quite funny, and that's fine with me at the moment. I'm happy to read this and then pick up another thriller after this. But I'll talk to you more about this and what I think of it when I finished in my April wrap up. So there we are. But I'll show you what I read in April. Not really got a TBR, to be honest, but I've got many on my list to read, but I don't really do a, oh, I must read that next. I don't know, I just read what I want. I'm a bit more of a mood reader, to be honest. But there we are. So I'm rambling now. Thank you for watching. Keep on watching me. I'm planning to do a sort of Easter weekend vloggy read with me for a few days, which is this weekend just come in. So that'll probably be my next video. So keep on watching if you want to see a bit more about me and how much I read in a weekend. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you to all you new subscribers, and I'll see you soon.